Is media always the unbiased, objective observer we believe it to be? How free is freedom of expression when it is selectively applied? In the grand theater of our global society, media plays a leading role, narrating the stories that shape our understanding of the world around us. It is a powerful tool with the potential to sway public opinion and drive social change. But what happens when this tool is not wielded with care, when the stories told are skewed by bias and the freedom of expression is not equally afforded to all voices? In an ideal world, media acts as a mirror, reflecting reality without distortion. It serves as a safeguard of democratic principles, ensuring that information is disseminated honestly and without prejudice. It is a platform for freedom of expression, where diverse perspectives are shared and robust debate is encouraged. However, in practice, the media landscape can often be a far cry from this ideal. In the pursuit of ratings, financial gain, or political agenda, media outlets may present a distorted view of reality, favoring certain narratives over others. This manipulation of information is a subtle yet pervasive form of bias, which can have far-reaching implications on public perception and discourse. Moreover, the freedom of expression, a cornerstone of democratic societies, is not always as free as it ought to be. When this freedom is selectively applied, it becomes a tool of control rather than liberation, stifling dissenting voices and reinforcing the status quo. It becomes a veneer of democracy, masking underlying disparities and injustices. In this complex interplay of power, bias, and freedom, where does the truth lie? How can we discern fact from fiction and ensure that all voices are heard? These are the questions that we grapple with as we delve into the intricate world of media and freedom of expression. The events in Gaza offer a compelling case study for this very discussion. As we navigate through this topic, we will explore the role of media in shaping public opinion, the challenges to freedom of expression, and the potential for change. It is a journey that promises to be as enlightening as it is unsettling, as we peel back the layers of bias and uncover the realities beneath. As the world watched, Gaza became a battleground, a place where resilience was put to the ultimate test. The unfolding events painted a poignant picture of a city under siege, where the daily rhythms of life were disrupted by the thunderous roars of conflict. The narrative began on an ordinary day. Suddenly, the skies above Gaza darkened, not by the setting sun, but by the ominous shadows of uninvited machines of war. The peaceful morning was shattered by the ear-splitting sounds of explosions, turning the city into an arena of chaos and fear. Schools were emptied, homes were abandoned, and streets were left deserted. The bustling markets, once filled with the chatter of vendors and the laughter of children, fell silent. The vibrant cityscape was replaced with a grim tableau of destruction and despair. As the days turned into weeks, the people of Gaza faced an escalating aggression. Their courage was tested at every turn, their resilience stretched to its limits. Yet amidst the rubble and the ruin, the spirit of the Gazan people remained unbroken. They stood firm, their determination unwavering, their resolve unshaken. The city, once known for its rich history and vibrant culture, was now making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The world watched in silent disbelief as the once thriving metropolis was reduced to a shadow of its former self. The narrative of Gaza was no longer about its glorious past or its hopeful future, but about its struggle for survival in the present. Yet, as the dust settled, the world began to see the true face of Gaza, a city of heroes, a city of survivors, a city that, despite the odds, refuses to surrender. The media's response to these events, however, was far from consistent. The disparity in coverage, the selective storytelling, and the blatant bias raised serious questions about the integrity of mainstream media. The crisis in Gaza was not just a test of resilience for the Gazan people, but also a litmus test for the so-called free press. And, as we will explore in the next scene, the results were telling. The Western media's coverage of the Gaza crisis was not what we had come to expect from them. We saw a media industry that, for years, had prided itself on objectivity and impartiality, suddenly taking sides. The scales of balance seem to have been tipped in favor of certain agendas, leading to an outpouring of biased reports and skewed narratives. The Gaza crisis, a humanitarian disaster that demanded the world's attention, was met with a surprising lack of objectivity in the Western media. Instead of presenting the raw, unfiltered truth to the world, the media became an echo chamber, amplifying misinformation and propaganda. The crisis was painted in broad strokes, with little regard for the nuances and complexities that define it. In the midst of the crisis, the media's role shifted from being the watchdog of democracy to a puppet on a string, dancing to the tune of those who pull the strings. The reports were not only unbalanced, but they also seemed to be carefully curated to fit a specific narrative. The voices of the oppressed were drowned out, while the oppressors were given a megaphone to amplify their voices. This was not the media we knew, the one that was supposed to be the fourth estate, holding power to account. Instead, it seemed to have become a tool for manipulation, spreading misinformation and fueling divisive narratives. The Gaza crisis was a litmus test for the media's objectivity, and unfortunately it failed miserably. The media's response to the Gaza crisis was a stark reminder of the power it holds and the responsibility that comes with it. It underscored the need for a free and independent media that is immune to external influences and dedicated to presenting the truth, no matter how inconvenient it may be. The media's approach to the Gaza crisis revealed a disturbing truth about the state of press freedom and media bias. It underscored the urgent need for a paradigm shift in the way news is reported and consumed, and for a media that is truly representative of the people it serves. The media's handling of the Gaza crisis did not go unnoticed by the Arab youth. This statement rings true as the youth, the future leaders and influencers of the Arab world, have been watching, listening, and critically assessing the media landscape. In a world where information is readily available at their fingertips, these young minds have been exposed to the stark reality of media bias and manipulation. The Gaza crisis, a humanitarian issue that should have been covered with fairness and impartiality, was instead portrayed through a skewed lens. This has led to a significant shift in the Arab youth's perception of Western media, a shift that may have lasting implications. It's crucial to understand that for many years, the Arab youth admired and idealized Western media. They saw it as a beacon of free speech, a platform where justice, honesty, and integrity were upheld. However, the media's response to the Gaza crisis has shattered that illusion. The evident bias, the selective coverage, the blatant disregard for the ethics of journalism, all these factors have left the Arab youth disillusioned. This disillusionment has fostered a newfound skepticism. The Arab youth are now questioning the authenticity of news coverage, the motivations of media institutions, and the true nature of freedom of expression. They are realizing that free speech is not always as free as it seems, that it can be controlled, manipulated, and used to serve agendas. But this doesn't mean the Arab youth are defeated. On the contrary, they are more determined than ever to seek truth, to challenge the status quo, and to raise their voices against injustice. They're using social media platforms, blogs, and other digital tools to share their perspectives, to expose media bias, and to advocate for a more fair and balanced media landscape. The media's handling of the Gaza crisis was indeed a wake-up call for many, shattering long-held beliefs about the impartiality of the press. But it has also ignited a spark in the Arab youth, a spark that could potentially lead to a more informed, more critical, and more empowered generation. The media's response to the Gaza crisis raises serious questions about the state of freedom of expression and media bias. We've walked through a journey examining how the media's portrayal of events can shape our understanding and beliefs, and how this portrayal can be influenced by hidden agendas and power dynamics. The media's role in a democratic society is crucial. It's meant to be the fourth estate, a watchdog keeping those in power in check. It's supposed to provide unbiased, accurate information, enabling citizens to make informed decisions. But what happens when this role is compromised? What happens when the media becomes a tool for propaganda, used to further the interests of those in power? The Gaza crisis has shown us the stark reality of media bias. We've seen how the narrative can be skewed, how events can be misrepresented, and how the voices of the oppressed can be silenced. This bias isn't just a disservice to the people of Gaza, it's a disservice to all of us, undermining our ability to understand the world we live in. The impact of this bias on Arab youth cannot be underestimated. For years, they've been fed a narrative that glorifies Western countries as bastions of freedom, justice, and honest media. But the events in Gaza have shattered this illusion, revealing the hypocrisy and double standards of the very institutions they once admired. The importance of critical thinking in consuming news cannot be overstated. It's not enough to passively accept the narratives we're fed. We must question, analyze, and seek out multiple perspectives. We must understand the inherent biases that may shape these narratives and strive to uncover the truth. As we continue to consume news from around the world, it's crucial to question, analyze, and understand the inherent biases that may shape the narratives we're presented with. Let's not allow the media to dictate our understanding of the world, but instead, let's strive to see through the bias and uncover the truth.